Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is G-COM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor. Check it out, y'all.
Here's a bonus. You heard it before.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Serving that heat.
That tornado.
G-COM Radio.
Yeah.
Hook my heart, won't you come with me? I've been feeling so high on you. Is that right? And no one ever does it better, baby. Can we just try it out?
Vacation while we on vacation. It doesn't matter where it is, cause we gon' make it ours. Ha.
G-COM Radio on iHeartRadio.
Cambodia, smoking fresh spice, getting classy. That's nice way down in Cambodia.
Fall into the love like Geronimo. The cookie crumble, but I wanna rake up all the dough. Check it, don't matter where we at. Spin the globe and put a thumb on it. If shorty bad, fine and keep it 100. Lead her entourage at home, we going all for it. She going all for us for it. I love ambition, got a lot to speak and I listen. So fine, got me stuttering my sentences. Call it like you see it. I'm a bad boy, good start. She said I'm chivalrous, nasty with a good heart. Ain't nothing to front, I'm real. What you want? Fall in love from the jump. Only skydiving once, no parachute. Dream couple, who the pair to choose? You the one, no comparing you. Wherever we land, it's ours. Get a tall glass, serenade upon the odds while we look upon the stars.
Sipping my ties under crystal clear skies way down in Cambodia. Cambodia, smoking fresh spice, getting classy. That's nice way down in Cambodia.
We are back, yes, for another episode. My name is Nova Phoenix, host of G-COM Radio on iHeartRadio. And you have just heard I Am M. The song is called Cambodia featuring Chris Pritham. Loving that song, coming again with that bonus track. Played him before and I'm playing him again. Always like supporting good music. And here we are. So, how has your weekend, or say your week has been? Mine was cool. Mine was all right. As always, one week. Hey man, listen, we're coming down to the end of the year, and every week that goes by makes me realize that we have little left going on for 2019, and this decade is over. I just realized this decade is going to be over. Yo, time is going by super fast, and when your head is in the work, it goes by even faster. So, you know, as I said before, man, do your best to, you know, live up the rest of 2019 and make those goals happen and push it out, finish strong. And whatever that you didn't complete in 2019, 2020 is here, man. 2020 vision, you know what I mean? So that's what's up. So first things of what's going on for the week that I've seen. The Black and Blue movie is coming out, and that movie is starring Tyrese Gibson, Naomi Harris, and the director is Deon Taylor. Good brother. He produced a lot of different joints in the past. He did Traffic. He did, oh man, what's that movie with Michael Ealy where there was Intruder? I think it was called Intruder with Dennis Quaid, I think, if I'm correct. So he's got this new movie, Black and Blue, talking about police misconduct, police corruption. Naomi Harris is the lead of the film, and she plays a cop that a rookie cop coming in witnessing a murder done by corrupt cops, and the whole thing is her being chased throughout the city of them trying to get her chest cam footage. So I did a group interview with those very people, with some other journalists on a call with Tyrese and Naomi and the director Deon, and I'm trying to see how I'm going to, you know, do this whole call, you know, how I'm going to structure it. So I'm like brainstorming how that's going to happen. So I will post it up on my IG. Big support to Black and Blue and Deon Taylor for doing this movie and everyone involved above and below the line. So I'm interested in seeing it. I was going to write something for it, but, you know, I'd rather see the movie like I saw Joker for me to really give my honest opinion, how I feel about the film. So we'll see how that goes. And other thing is, no go on this impeachment thing, man, with Trump. It's such... Oh man, I think it's such a shit show because, I mean, it came out a little bit ago that Nancy Pelosi was pushing through with the impeachment. There's going to be an impeachment inquiry. Everybody was like, oh my God, you know, both sides, pro and anti-Trump. And people were, I'm sure, watching with bated breath on what was going to happen. So Trump is pretty much like, whatever, I ain't listening to none of y'all, you know, doing his, I can't believe this dude is doing so many impeachable things in the face of the government, and nobody can say, well, that's an impeachable act. We can't have that happen. It happened for Nixon, and he was doing something with the Democratic National Convention, trying to get papers that they had, and this dude stepped down because of all the pressure. This dude, Trump, he be slapping cats in the face with his words. I swear to God, it's crazy. So he's saying he's not gonna even answer the House on this inquiry thing because no official papers have been put forth. Now, you could say, oh my God, he's not listening to the rule of law, da, 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 da. But then you got to listen to what he's saying. Wait, no articles of impeachment was put together, nothing to officialize this impeachment inquiry? Then you got to look at the Democrats. So what is he talking about? No Democrat that I've seen on articles have said anything. No, we put in papers. I haven't seen. Please, people, correct me if you can. Correct me, because all I heard was him saying there's no official papers been put through. So then I'm looking at them like, well, is he right? Is he wrong? And not a peep. So is this all a farce or what? I'm like, so what's the answer? Crickets. Nothing from the Democratic side. Why is this impeachment thing being treated as such a political suicide when there have been, I mean, they're saying because the elections is coming up and it could be a bad move on their part on getting reelected. But hold on a second. Hold on. If your constituency are people that are against Trump, what are you so worried about not getting elected again if that's your base anyway? I mean, what's going on here? This is a shit show, man. This is a circus. And to me, they're both in on it. They're both in on it. I blame those chump ass Republicans for just souring and poisoning the whole political process, the whole government, how it's operating. And I'm looking at the Democrats and I'm blaming them because they are running a circus themselves and just giving me some bullshit that they're against Trump. And really all they doing is just talking. That's all they doing. They talking. They like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. So it's either two things for me. Number one, you don't really want to impeach a dude and you agree with what he's saying. And number two, you just as corrupt as him and really just talking flim flam to give the people what they want to hear or the people that support you. So either way, this is a shit show. What is going on here? What is going on? So I'm at this point where I really don't care what is happening on the news, who's broadcasting it, whether it's Fox, MSNBC, freaking CNN. I don't care about what they're saying with the cameras and lights on, the Democrats. To me, this is an obvious, oh my God, the theatricality of the whole thing is, it's driving me insane. People keep falling for it. And I'm watching it, even me watching it, superficially watching it, is getting me annoyed. Can you imagine the people that are, their whole heart and minds is what's going on between the Republicans and the Democrats and Trump and Nancy Pelosi and everybody that's super against this dude? Like, it's so fucking draining, man, and exhausting. And last but not least, so this freaking Facebook. All right, I'm on Facebook, I'm on IG. Everybody knows that IG is owned by Facebook. So I post my thing and everything, my life and what's going on. And I promote it. I keep on getting rejected by Facebook. Every time, because I promote my pages, especially for the artists that are on the show. I promote it, let them know what the topics are and the artists that are on it. I got rejected. I keep on getting rejected. And more so as of late. I can't put my thumb on it on why this is happening. I really can't put my thumb on it. One, they were saying because of cleavage. Like one of the artists, she had a low, cut shirt, whatever. She's also a model. She was on the runway. And they were saying it was a Sammy Soul picture. And I used that as one of the promo pics for the artist for the show. And they came back at me saying, oh, we're denying the promotion because it's low cleavage. I'm like, she's not naked. And as you can see, she's doing a runway. So what are we talking about here? All right, so I chose another picture. And then I posted another joint. They were saying, oh, it's politically oriented. You can't talk about, politics. We don't really talk about politics here. And it was like really something. It wasn't even like dump Trump or fuck Trump. It wasn't like that. It was just like, I forgot what it was about, but something really that didn't really it wasn't really provocative or deep. They're saying they don't promote any politically oriented posts, and then I gotta ID myself on. I'm like, crazy, bro. So I went through the whole ID thing. That didn't work. Something happened. It didn't work. So I'm like, this is some bullshit, right? And I'm sure that I could get it done, but then it was saying, oh, I need this, and then they got to send you an actual letter to verify your identity if you're gonna do any politically oriented posts. And I missed the first letter because who cares? Who does letters? So I'm not really looking for it, and so I had to do it again. It took another week and a half. And I just got to a point I was like, yo, whatever. So they're saying I can't do any politics, so they deny the post, the promotion of the post. And then some random company, because as you know, I post little talks of the show, and they actually said, crazy. They actually said that my post was denied because some Indian company, some obscure Indian company called T-Series CMS is saying that there are some not political, but there's some copyright, questionable items that are copyrighted that could be owned by them, that may be owned by them. So this obscure company put in this copyright, violation with Facebook supposedly, and that's why I was denied for one of my posts, not even a promotion, for my post to be promoted. So now I'm looking at the runs of my post, like the activity, and nothing. Of course, it's 1 or 0 because they blocked it. It's still on my profile, but as far as it being put out there into the IG universe, people can't see it. So because of this random I'm like, yo, what is going on? I keep on being blocked, and I'm not even saying anything crazy. All right. I don't know. So, it was fun while it lasted with IG. I'm not going to close my page. I'm still going to post, but I'm going to try to find some alternate means of promoting my brands. But because obviously, whether it's the algorithms or someone over there in the Facebook corporate is going through these things, and I'm getting flagged continuously. And let me tell you something. It's a pretty cool way to limit people's reach through IG, because a lot of people promote their businesses through IG, of course. And, IG is like, or Facebook rather, is censoring people or censoring their what they're talking about, what they're posting. And it's getting to be so limiting. And I'm not going to complain, because the same way people were complaining about Mark Zuckerberg, complaining about Facebook and it's too big, or he's involved with certain political people that's swaying or trying to influence the users on the Facebook platform, or whatever it is that they had issues with Mark Zuckerberg. I'm like, as I said before, shut the fuck up, people. Because if you're not willing to go someplace else because of what you don't like about Facebook, shut the fuck up. Okay? Because you complained before and you're still using Facebook. I don't see anybody doing no mass exodus off of Facebook and jumping on something else. Okay? And it's not like other alternatives are not there. Because look at me, Lyfeblood.com. It's shut the fuck up. I said, shut the fuck up. Okay? Ease off. Because if you were about that life and you didn't like what Mark Zuckerberg was doing, there would be people talking about it. Yo, go over there, go over there, go over there. Oh, you know what? My man does that. Go over there. I'm going to jump on that. Ain't nobody doing that. So I'm not going to complain about IG. Nah, cool. You do what you want. I'm going to promote on IG, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm going to go to other places, and I'm brainstorming that right now on really how to push the brand. So that shit was annoying to me this weekend. Totally annoying. So let's get on this show. So the first segment. Oh, man. Did I? Yes, I did. Did I? Yeah, yes, I did. I'm thinking about the artist. I'm like, yo, did I promote the artist? Anyway, the first segment, what we're talking about is Lyfeblood and its purpose. Lyfeblood and its purpose. And what it's about, listen, everybody knows what Lyfeblood.com is about. I talked about it at the end of the show. It's on my IG account. I promote it. It's about people following their passion, pursuing their passion, really seeking out other hobbies that they are interested in, and how you turn hobbies into a business or something that could be self-sustaining. And through that, we use, of course, the dollar power mantra. If anybody or anyone in the network sees or are really involved with what other users are doing, they can just give them $1 per month. All it takes is $1 per month. You give it, here, take $1. We spend money on more frivolous things, idiotic things. Why not invest it in each other? And we're not investing in a business, and we're not investing in an idea. Oh, well, you can say that. Invest in the idea, but you're investing in the individual. And it also comes, we have to change our mindsets on how we see each other and how we see each other within this society, within a new framework. And a lot of times people say, okay, so Nova, you talk about, well, you talk about various things other than Lyfeblood. Well, I do have a business of the week that I just started, and at the end of the show I do a thing called the news you need to know, and there's some information that's out there that you may not be privy to that is kind of Lyfeblood related, whether it's technological advancements or new things that are popping up, or anything that should be interesting that will have a definite effect on you as an individual as you live your life throughout the years, right? But a lot of my talks are about various things, and they're all Lyfeblood related. They're all Lyfeblood related, whether it's about Tekashi 6ix9ine, about the Amazon forest fires, whether it's about sex and relationships, business, our technology, etc. Even with our what do you call it? Our economy, current corporations doing, it's all Lyfeblood related. Because what I'm trying to do, it's a social experiment what Lyfeblood is doing. Can we actually put to work our ideas in our community and make constructive advancements in who we are as a group of people? What can we do? A lot of the things that we're lacking, as I've said before on the show, is we have great ideas. The community, we talk to each other on an individual basis at our jobs, at soccer practice when we're talking with the fellas, or at the barbershop or the beauty salon, or various other places where we're actually communicating to each other the struggles of what's happening in society. And a lot of times people have these great ideas, even talking at events, whether they're musicians or an artist, as far as visual artists, that we're actually exchanging our feelings on that the society is going down a wayward path. And how do we solve it? Because a lot of people can identify the problems and the issues, but we are not kind of trying to structure solutions that we could work our way out of the issues that we're having, that we're discussing with each other. And a lot of it, as far as Lyfeblood.com is talking about, I think one of the solutions is economics. Because we can have 1,001 ideas, but if we don't have the money to fund these ideas, how are we ever going to work this thing off the ground or get it started? Or a lot of times that we're working our passions and it's on the ground running, but every now and then it gets stunted because we don't have money. Now imagine, no different from any other social network, that we have 5,000 friends, and each one of them has followed us through our years of developing our passions, and they're saying, oh, I really like what this person is doing. Let me give him $1. Yeah, that's kind of clever. I like that video, or I like what he's saying, or I like what she's doing. And let me give him $1 once every month. Let's see where it comes. Now, imagine if that's 5,000 people, and they're giving you this money. How are we it's no different from, as I said before, a susu. When now we're funding each other to make it happen. And I continuously see the same problem happening again and again. And we have to realize that banks, or the traditional financial institutions, are no longer giving the money that they're giving. And the only way we're gonna survive this how could I say, this economic stranglehold, if we have to start looking at each other to solve our problems. And that's one way of what Lyfeblood is about, is trying to put money back into the equation of us having or put money back into the equation for us having a self-sustaining lifestyle. And a lot of times we can't do that. I mean, we're pressured by bills, we're pressured by debt and all these other things, and we have to go to work, and then all of a sudden we have to do extra hours of work in order to make our lives continue. Not even to get into the into our passions, but just to keep ourselves maintained, to keep our lights on, to keep our rent paid, to keep our mortgage paid, to our cars and all these things. We're not even getting into the things that we want to get into because we are constricted by debt. We're chasing money just to keep the lights on. And that is in no way something that we should be doing or we should aspire towards as human beings in this society. We are much more than just paying bills day in and day out, month in and month out. We're more than these things. And it's just not a matter of money, but how do we see, or how are we going to attack the issues, as I said before, when it comes to banking, when it comes to crime, when it comes to sex and relationships. These are all things that are all layered on top of each other, that what makes a robust society, a robust society that's operating at its optimal level. How are we going to solve the issues of our relationships? How are we going to deal with the issues of our economy? How are we going to deal with the issues of running a business on a local level or international level? How are we going to deal with the Amazon fires or anything that's facing us as human beings that has an indirect effect on our livelihood, our quality of life, not just for our generation, but for the generation that's coming afterwards? How are we going to do with our political system that's kind of being locked down by money, by other companies that are directly affecting policy, domestic policy in our country? That even the few are so keen to how this system is moving in and out, and not for the interest of the people. All of this is connected to Lyfeblood.com. And if we want a better society, that we see a lot of certain politicians, even the new ones that's coming out, like I say AOC. AOC is promised, her image is popping into my head as far as the new political energy that's coming into the government right now. How do we want to shape that society, man? How do we want to do that? And being a part of Lyfeblood is that. So when I talk about these issues, I'm talking about Lyfeblood. And I joke about it, I laugh, I get real loosey-goosey with it. But on a serious note, when it comes down to brass tacks, how are we going to interact with each other by redefining what it is to be human citizens on this planet? Right where we are right in this country. How are we going to do that? And I believe Lyfeblood is the space for that we can talk to each other on that level. And you say, well, I could do that on Facebook. But you know what? Facebook is like every social media business, like every venture, it is at the bottom line of business. They're here to make money. You can do whatever you want, but at a certain point, they kind of shut it down. If the idea is spreading too widely, it's getting out or it's being disseminated to too many people, you best believe they're gonna shut it down. So your groups could talk about it in 100 people, 300 people, but a lot of times these great ideas they're not reaching outside of these small little talk groups, these small little social groups. It needs to spread, not just on the platform, but outside when people talk to each other. When you say, oh, let me go to this space and let's see how we can build it. We got to connect the dots on how we're going to do these things, man. And we're not doing it. We're talking a lot, but we have to put it to action. That's not going to be, I don't want that to be, do that on Facebook. Right here, Lyfeblood is something else. It is a social experiment on how much are we going to put towards advancing our society by what we do here and what we do outside. Okay. So, I'm going to continue this conversation because my time is going. Let's go into the first artist of the show. His name is Shiwan, and his song is called Serenade Lost. He's coming out of Hamden, Connecticut, this brother. And this song is nice when I heard it. So check this brother out, and we're going to come back with Lyfeblood and its purpose in the second segment. So check out this brother Shiwan. And we'll be right back with talking about Lyfeblood. All right, then. Peace.
Ooh, a GCOM exclusive.
I'ma need a reminder. I've been checking my time. I've been feeling some kinda. I ain't feeling the vibe. I've been needing some guidance. I don't wanna rewind. You've been making my mind up. I can't make my mind. Too much stressing. I can't cool it. They know they stay around me too lit. I pray with standards. Don't think I'm clueless. Gold trophies around me. Don't think I'm willis. Faster, they want me on my grind. Man, I don't got time, got a 9 to 5. And I see if forgetfulness, they always ride me blind. When I just decline, I pray on time. Too much stressing, I can't cool it. They know They stay around me too lit. I pray with standards. Don't think I'm clueless. Gold trophies around me. Don't think I'm winless.
This is G-COM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
Yeah, man. So what you thought of that joint with Shiwan, man? I like that. That was real smooth, man. So much props to this brother. Bigging him up and best of wishes to him on his hustle on getting his music out there to the world. So you know what we do at the beginning of the second segment. We have Business of the Week, and this is one of my personal favorites to present to you guys. So check this on out.
Ladies and gentlemen, what up?
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders. It's what you've been waiting for.
Quelly TV. We all know the new hustle in town, and that is data streaming, or as you all know, music streaming and movie streaming. All we're doing is streaming ones and zeros through a fast speed internet connection to widely transfer images and sound, right? We know of Netflix, Hulu, Fandango, and some new streaming services like Disney Plus and CBS All Access. One streaming service is not widely known though. That's Quelly TV. Quelly TV is an African-American owned streaming service to provide movies for the African diaspora. They stream documentaries, web shows, children's programming, and more. The founder, Deshuna Spencer, just like many African Americans, were tired of the same dry cookie cutter African American TV shows on other networks, including one video description service. After many months of disappointment, she started her own streaming service, naming it Quelly TV. Quelly means truth in Swahili. Quelly TV's mission: to curate and create content that is a true representation of the Black experience on a global level. It's for all journalists, filmmakers, activists, historians, and others that want to see a collective foundation for all to see a true expression of the African experience with an unfiltered eye. See Quelly.tv for more info. So yeah, man. So we're back with this, talking about Lyfeblood and its purpose, and the variety of subjects that I do talk about on the show, everything under the sun, and how it all relates to Lyfeblood.com as far as our human behavior, or just challenging new ideas and new thoughts, new ways of thinking about things. And sometimes I do it in a joking manner, sometimes I'm serious, but just to get the conversation sparked in your cars, in your offices, on, well, oh yeah, I just heard this dude Nova, he was talking about polygamy, blah, 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 blah. What do we think about that? You know what I mean? So it's all related to Lyfeblood, because as I said before, I'm trying to do something that's new, because I hear a lot of people talking, but I don't see a lot of action. I don't see a lot of people putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to the dollar power philosophy on helping individuals. Now, I do see people help each other, and as far as through other platforms, but they're only focus one and done missions. When people are trying to raise money for a book or whatever thing that they're doing that they feel they need to be funded by, and people are asking to raise like $5,000, and that's a great thing. But I think that if we build something that can be sustaining for us as human beings, and we can still go about and have the ability to do our events and live our passions, why not do that by having people just, support every month at a minimal micro level? And I know it works. You know why I know it works? I read a lot of articles, and one of the major websites that I do check out is Washington Post. And you know what they're doing? They're asking people to donate or to give $1 a month in order to access the information on the WashingtonPost.com. That's a major news source where people get a lot of their information, and they're asking for $1. And I can bet your ass people are doing it. So if you can do it for businesses like the Washington Post, you can do it to each other through the Lyfeblood platform. You can do it. So what I wanted to talk about even in the second segment is, it's funny that I watch a lot of TED Talks, and this one particular talk just stood out for me. And let me get this timer started, because I always forget to start the timer, and then I have to restart it. Okay, this timer is on. I give myself about 15 minutes, and that's the length that I, at minimum, want these segments to go by. I try to finish my whole show within like an hour and 15 minutes. So anyway, so I was watching this TED Talk by this gentleman named Nick Hanauer. And his TED Talk was named on YouTube, The Dirty Secret of Capitalism and a New Way Forward. And he started out, he's a capitalist. We are all capitalists. That's what we do. We go to work, we earn money. That money pays for all these things that we need in order to survive, as I said before in the previous segment. And I know one particular individual that doesn't agree with me that I'm connected to on my Facebook. And he is a grassroots activist that studies the learnings of Karl Marx and a lot of socialist ideas and ideals that he has read in his past coming up, and it's a part of who he is today, the grown man that he is. And he doesn't believe in capitalism. He believes that it is inherently flawed, and we need to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Everything start fresh. This is a new system that we can live by, that's communal, that worries about human beings. And I understand. I'm with him with a lot of those ideas. I'm with him. But we live in a capitalistic world where you have to earn credits, and I call it credits now. I don't think it's dollars and cents anymore. It's credits, because no one gets a check. Okay. Well, a few people or half the people still use cash, and they have cash in their pockets. The other half use their debit credit card, and we use it for everything. Okay, from gas to food to movies, going to the movies, we use it for everything. Now, even the meters that we park next to in our cars, now they got an app where you can pay the parking meter through this app for 2 or 3 hours or whatever you need, whatever the max is in that particular area in the city. You don't even need to drop coins into the meter anymore. So we live by cards. So as far as I call it credits, and he's a capitalist and I'm a capitalist, this gentleman named Nick Hanauer, and he was talking about all the things that are wrong with the hyper-capitalism that we live in today. That's kind of been pushed forward for the last 30 or 40 years. And he said there are 5 rules to a new economy in order for us to right the ship that we are currently on in the United States of America and around the world. And he says, number 1 is capitalism is not a jungle. They're gardens. Markets are like gardens and must be tended to. And I agree. It's not this wild, crazy, look out for the tigers, lions, and bears. And all of a sudden, we are at the whim of this, these beasts. And we have to, just go out there and just ravage everything like with some Tarzan or something like that. And I don't believe that capitalism should be a jungle. It should be more like a garden that we have to tend to. That there are certain things that we can cultivate in order for us to have a robust economy. No different from farmers that are planting foods or vegetables and knowing that you just can't plant those foods and those vegetables or the produce over and over again and pull them out the ground and not realize that we're pulling the nutrients out of the ground as well. And we can eventually make the lands arid by doing that very act. And we have to feed those nutrients back into the earth if we want to get the produce back. And I think capitalism can be a garden if you treat it the right way. That you tend to the things that we need. We extract the money from it. We have natural resources and we trade it for credits and we trade it for money or service, and we're getting these things back. But we're getting these things, but we all actually have to give back. Give back those same, just like nutrients in the ground is for farmers. We had to give back in order to nourish the markets in order for us to get something in return. And that could be a variety of different things, to the people, to the environment, to local markets, and saying, hey, we're giving bonuses, or a lot of different things where we can encourage the markets to be healthy. And I know I could get into more detail about that, but it's a topic to discuss when you take it to your neighbor. Number 2 is inclusion creates economic growth. It shouldn't happen as some sort of fancy luxury when growth happens. And I believe in that. I think that inclusion is necessary and that we have to invest in people. It's not about whenever we make profits that we can decide, not even give. Should we give a little something? I don't know. Let's think about that. Because there are some industries and corporations, transnational corporations, and I go online and I can download their financial projections or just their financial record on how much they made in 2017, 2018. And some of these transnational corporations are making billions, not in years, but billions in a quarter, in 3 months. And yet certain people just trying to figure out how to live. They're trying to figure out how to eat. Their healthcare is not top notch. They have their medicine that they need. They can't pay for it. Or this is a classic thing that I've ran into, my healthcare with my my deductible. The deductibles are so high, I pretty much have to pay out of pocket for everything. You know what I mean? So what's the point of me paying for my medical insurance that I need when I get sick, but then the deductible is so high, I'm just kicking out for every other average thing. So if it goes up, then the company is then the insurance is gonna pay for it. What? So I'm paying you to give me health insurance, but then when I actually get sick, and if it falls under the deductible, then I'm still paying out of pocket. I'm paying you just for me to eventually pay anyway in the long run. It's asinine how some of these health insurance plans are. So it's about people, investing in people. Number 3, purpose. It's not just for enriching shareholders. It's about the purpose of all people involved in the prosperity of a company. A lot of times they say, well, I'm beholden to the shareholders. I have to keep my company in the black and make sure we pull a profit, and I have to go back to the shareholders and make sure that we have growth in said quarter or said fiscal year. And it looks good on the books. And everybody is happy. But a company is not just about some round table of tight ass people in shirt and ties and blouses, and they're about 9 or 10 people, and then they're getting fucking buku dollars to run this company. And then all of a sudden, this company is making billions in a quarter, not paying taxes, not doing any of the sort. And then you have people that are creating the wealth for this company, the billions of dollars that you're making in a quarter. You're saying, well, you know what? Your health insurance, this is what we can provide. We're only going to give you 7.25. Oh, we don't care about how you're getting to work, just as long as you work. To screw you, fuck you. It's not about the shareholders. It's about the people. It's about making sure the people are in good enough condition in order to make you money. You can't just extract the most out of people every fucking waking moment of their lives and giving 60 hours per week and making the minimum or not making enough in whatever region of the United States that they're living in, the standard of living is equating to what they make. And now they're miserable because they cannot live a healthy lifestyle. It's not about the shareholders. It's about making sure the people are right. To make sure you give them adequate wages so they can save some money, especially in an expensive city like New York or Miami or LA. They actually can have quality lives and they don't have to go to work. Not in the sense that they won't give it. At least let it be, you know what? They could wake up in the morning and come to work. Now they got to listen to an asshole boss and they have to drag their feet. And then what happens? Your company is not productive because the only way that the person can feel like they can strike back is through passive aggressiveness and not give you the best. And then what happens next? The boss is like, fuck you. You're not giving me what I need. I'm going to fire you. And that person walks off disgruntled. And what happens next? You have the Joker. You have people coming back and shooting up where they worked. It's not about the shareholders. Number 4, greed is not good. Greed is not good. Okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at my time. So greed is not good. Being rapacious, as he said, does not make you a capitalist and makes you a sociopath. It makes you crazy. Where you only focus on money and not about the people that's making the money for the corporation. It's about access. No, it's about strangleholding the very things that are making you billions of dollars. It's about choking the life out of the resources and the services that you're creating for the people that you're pointing it towards. And nothing matters but the sole purpose of profit. We make money. Who cares about the people? Who cares about the environment? Who cares about the animals? Who cares about the sick? Who cares about the elderly? As long as it's about profit and you making it, that's all that matters. It turns people into sociopaths. It turns people into killers. What's the difference between Jeffrey Dahmer and an owner of a CEO that has, say, extracting some natural resources out the ground and hundreds of thousands of people are negatively affected by that very service, and you're killing them, whether it's through the environment or you are promoting certain actors in that region to become blood-crazed mercenaries to get those natural resources for you. And they will chop off hands, chop up people, slaughter people. But that shouldn't matter to you, right? Or when you outsource your product and have another country do it, there's no labor laws over there. So you work them to the bone. When it's outsourced to Thailand or Cambodia, some third world country, I'm making profits. That's what it's about. That is the problem with corporations. When nothing else matters but money itself, and the world is blocked out, you are a sickness. You're a sickness of greed, and you are a sickness for life itself. We human beings within that life experience. And lastly, the law of economics are a choice. It's not governed by immovable outside forces. It's not unchangeable. We created by setting up our own limitation on what works and what doesn't. Like, it's like, oh, well, there's laws of economics, and if we do it like this, so we can't make any money. Nah, man. You can make money. You choose to do it this way because that's, in your mind, it's the only way of doing things. In order for, as what Nick Hanauer said, he says, in order for us to have a just functioning society, we have to create a new form of economics because right now it is not working. We live in a debt-based society, and everybody knows what that is. A debt-based society is for them making money off of your debt, what you owe to them. Okay? So when you owe school, when you owe for your cars, when you owe for your house, when you owe for that new TV that you don't have quite money for, whatever you have, whatever you debt, look, you got to pay us with interest. But the problem with that is when so many people are on debt to an enormous amount, the society, the economic structure crumbles because people can't pay for it because they're not making enough. So having a debt-based society may help you in the short term, but in the long term, it makes the society unhealthy. We're a debt-based society that we're getting too gluttonous, too greedy, and we're living fat off the lamb, certain people. And now because we're in a debt-based society, we're teetering because people on an individual level can't hold the debt. I know one guy that owes $600,000 in debt, everything that he has. And he just accepts it. He's like, this is what it is. His kids go to school. He's got to pay for it. He's got a house that he has to get to pay for. He's got all the cars that he has to pay for. And all the other side things that he has to pay for along the way that I'm sure he puts on a card. It comes up to $600,000. This man's going to work himself into the grave. And there's nothing that you can tell me how that can be just the norm. It should be accepted as a norm. Hey, well, that's a part of life. No, it is not a part of life. There is something wrong with our economy, with our system, and it comes right down to greed. And it comes right down to hyper-capitalism, and we're forcing ourselves to fucking try to live where it shouldn't have to be forced. No different from when you're coming onto new lands, you build your house, you plant your food. Okay, I got food. There's labor to it. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, I'm gonna pull the plants out. I got produce for my family. I got my hogs, my horses, my chickens. Okay, all right, cool. Feed my family. We have chores. We work up 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's having a problem with hard work. Nobody says that we're afraid of hard work. But when you're doing hard work and you're not getting anything back from it, that's where it's a problem. That's where people are getting frustrated. That's where the angst is building up and the anger. That's the problem. So, all right. Those are the 5 points of having a new economy and how, again, it ties into Lyfeblood.com and how we're trying to change that. This is an opportunity to change it. Okay? Instead of going to banks, and banks are not going to loan anyway, we're going to give to each other. Instead of making a centralized economy and creating a debt-based economy, we're going to, instead of that, we're going to look to each other. We're going to look left. We're going to look right. Okay, look, what do you need? What do you need? Okay, here's $1. Okay, here's $1. Okay, cool. All right, boom. How else can we do that? Now we're going to funnel money into gardens, into hydroponics, all right, solar power. We're going to do that. Okay, we're going to funnel money over there. All right, here's $1. Here's $1. That was a great idea. Okay, cool. Here's $1. Take that money. All right, there. Cool. All right. I got this bakery. Okay, can people give me $1? Okay, here's $1. Thank you. I got 5,000 friends. Okay, $5,000. Okay, look, this is how I'm going to fund myself. It ties directly in with Andrew Yang. And the what he calls it, the American dividend, I think, where people get $1,000 a month. It's kind of a UBI, but it's not quite a UBI. You're working together like a UBI susu. We're mashing a lot of different ideas here. We're trying to come up with alternative ways to live, man. And we're not going to try to complain about it and continue to do it. We're going to try to come up with alternative ways for us to fucking survive, for us to live. We got to do something different. Now we have to network and talk with each other and put aside the bullshit. How are we going to do this? Obviously, money is a fucking problem. How are we going to get money if it's not a part of the equation? How do we put it into the equation? If you want to start a small business or you have a passion, how are we going to do this? We have to do it with each other. Okay. All right. The next artist, 2 artists that we coming up. I used to let you know, I used to listen to rock a lot. Okay, I used to listen to rock. That was the first music I ever listened to before hip hop. So I always like to see what's out there as well, even when I want to listen to other things. So listen to the Revel. He's got this song called Don't Let Me Go from his EP Don't Let Me Go. So I heard this song and it was kind of a throwback on rock of the 80s, man. I think this dude's got something. And this other young brother from Harlem, I believe he's from Harlem. Yeah, I think so. His name is Jeff Taylor with Promises and Apologies. And the reason why I like this song, because it was an honest song. It's a song about his brother and a song about his girlfriend. So check this song out. It's the Revel, Don't Let Me Go, and Jeff Taylor with Promises and Apologies. Check this song out. All right, brothers.
Platform in the world. G-COM Radio on iHeartRadio.
Tell me everything about you, honey, 'cause I need your love. Tell me every little thing about your love. I need your love. I wanna see you in the morning. Don't wanna see you walk away.
Sounding off around the world. You are listening to G-COM Radio.
Never home but always reppin', license on suspension. In between a living, not a dreaming what is destined. Looking at my debit used to put me in depression. Looking at what's left and thanking God for all my blessings. Used to want Melissa since in 2011. And now I got Melissa and we out here planning weddings. I was hurting, she was wiping tears that I was shedding. And she was there when any Roxanne went off to heaven. For that I always promised you I'd never do you wrong. I promised if this wasn't true I'd never do this song. I promised you forever you get my love in abundance. I promise you I'm nothing like them lame niggas you fucked with. And she the type that you a wife, I swear you gotta love it. We linked back up a year ago, I swear I couldn't dub it. She asked to split the bill, I said I got it, I was frightened. I asked her for a kiss, she started laughing like it's funny, is you bugging? Now you wasn't. And then we kissed and you couldn't stop blushing. What started as a friendship and grew into some lovers. Now into a life where we can't live without each other. You moving back in May and I'm leaving out in June. I leave it in God's hand cause that's all that I can do. I'll be gone for months, or estimated 9. I'm praying when I come back that you still gonna be mine. On God. It's always unique, I mean the love that we got. This shit can never be broken. You've been my rider, problems behind us. The love that we got was always genuine, so I'ma leave it up in God's hands, yeah. I'ma leave it up in God's hands, yeah. And you've been a rider, problems behind us. The love that we got was always genuine, so shit the same but always different. Problems with my sibling. I hope one day that he gonna bless me with forgiveness. Looking at the text and thinking why the fuck I did it. My friend that was my best, I'm thinking Jeff you can't be serious. He used to bump your shit back when nobody else listened. He fronted you that money for that Chevy to be driven. He always held you down, he always treat you like no other. We came out the same mother, that's my big brother. I'm sorry we ain't talking and I use this song to vent. I'm sorry if it looked like I play both sides of the fence. Sorry if it came across disrespect to your lady. Sorry that I'm sorry, man, this shit driving me crazy. And I know I done probably fucked up and lost your trust, but I give up the world just to get back where we was. And I know time is ticking, I'll be gone for 9 months, but I pray before I leave that we gon' get back to us, on God. It's always unique, I mean the love that we got. This shit can never be broken. You've been my rider, problems behind us. The love that we got was always genuine, so I'ma leave it up in God's hands, yeah. I'ma leave it up in God's hands, yeah. And you've been a rider, problems behind us. The love that we got was always genuine, so yeah. I was talking to mom the other day, and she was like, walk by faith, not by sight. So I'ma do that.
Yeah, that was the Revel, Don't Let Me Go, and Jeff Taylor with Promises and Apologies. Yeah, man, I'm liking both songs, as I always do. I was feeling both joints in both ways that they represent each other. So yeah, man, big ups to these these young artists. So anyway, before we get started into segment 3, you know what we gotta do. The news you need to know. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, around the world and right in your neighborhood, it's the news you need to know.
Ford's EV Mustang is here. By the end of 2019, Ford will reveal its all-electric SUV Ford Mustang. Ford says it has been working on the car for the past year, and glimpses have been made on the prototype with a 300-mile range. The vehicle has some changes for the overall design and interior. For one, the infotainment system screen will be on top of the dash instead of its traditional placement. Ford is setting up this vehicle to be the direct rival to Tesla Model Y. It will be showcased in dealer showrooms by the fall of 2020. The Ford EV will be unveiled at the Los Angeles International Auto Show in November. Rikers Island is closing. Rikers Island, a 413-acre jail that housed over 7,000 prisoners, is scheduled to shut down in 2026. This rotting purgatory, haunted by scandalous stories and used by a highly debated New York justice system, will be replaced by an $8 billion plan for 4 new jails located in the boroughs of Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens. Some people agree and other people disagree. Along with building new jails, $391 million will go to fund programs that will help handle the root causes of mass incarceration, such as violence interruption programs and mental health programs. Also, a performing arts space in Manhattan, affordable housing in the Bronx, and other planned initiatives. Councilwoman Diana Ayala of the Bronx agreed with the new plan due to its inclusion of financial commitments beyond the building of jails alone. At a press conference, the mayor de Blasio said, "The era of mass incarceration is over. It's over. It's about valuing our people, no longer condemning people and sending them on a pathway only made their lives worse and worse." Let's see how that goes. And that is the news you need to know. Yeah, man. All right. That was pretty good news you need to know like that. Just to let you know, yeah, I'm telling you, man, EV cars are on its way. No stopping it. And what's next after EV cars? EV trucking business is next. And once companies can find out a way how to use or install EV batteries in the trucking industry, right behind it is automated. And they're already doing it. So, you gotta start preparing now, folks. Anyway, so we're gonna start the third segment. The third segment is about the survival of hip-hop businesses. Man, I just found out when me doing this, my research and what I'm going to talk about, I just found out that All Def Digital shut down, man. This happened back in July 2019. I never knew. I don't catch everything. But I caught it now. Yeah, man, what's going on? So apparently from what I hear, there's been some issues with All Def Digital. The place has just been like a Wild West, women being disrespected, and there was so much drama that was happening there and lying and mismanagement of the operation. And the CEO, his name is Chris Blackwell, he said when all the information was, all the rumors was going about the shutting down of All Def Digital, he was saying to Variety magazine, "We are reorganizing the company in advance of a strategic deal," whatever that shit is. Obviously, this is October, and there is no strategic deal. This company is dead and buried as far as I'm concerned. And I want to check. Matter of fact, let me just check this month. I ain't even bothered to check. Let me see here. All Def Digital.com. If it is .com, I don't know. It's a .com. It looks like it's alive. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on. All Def. Damn, look at this dude. He looking. Well, it is going on. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so it looks like alive. Okay, my bad. It's still going on. But it makes you think the drama that was happening with All Def Digital. It looks pretty new, is it? Let me see here. So I'm going into, you have actually All Def Digital, it took me to their YouTube page. All right. And yeah, this was put on published on October 20th. Let's see, Beyond. Hold on a second, folks. So I'm on their YouTube page, and I'm just checking out what they've been doing. So apparently, my bad, they do have a YouTube channel, All Def Digital, and they posted, but the last time they posted was 1 month ago. So I don't know if it's still up and going or not, but this is just telling, even if it's still going, it's still a problem, man. What's going on with a lot of these hip hop businesses, man, oriented businesses? It's just sad. All Def Digital was previously ran by Russell Simmons, but he had a lot of those issues that was going on with the women allegations or rape allegations, whatever was happening at the time. I forget the details, but of course it went with women harassment and all that. He kind of stepped down and kind of bounced out of the United States, and now he has this other dude that was running, I guess it was CEO Chris Blackwell. And apparently after that article came out in July, they were saying that All Def Digital was run like some kind of a Wild Wild West setup. Women were still getting treated kind of messed up and all that, and business is all crazy. What is happening here, man? And a lot of times, and it's just not All Def Digital. Since the creation of hip hop back in 78, 77, my era was the 90s. It was also the 80s, but when I was really coming up, when I was a teenager, it was in the 90s. A lot of businesses was opening and shutting, man. It's like, hey, I guess this is no different from any other American company, but you remember FUBU, Call Kana, Rockefeller, all these joints kind of like they reached their peak and then they just disappeared. And you don't hear them no more. And then there was nothing else to replace them, right? And I don't know why. It's crazy because you love these brands. You want them to stick around. And all of a sudden, these CEOs, the founders, like say, for instance, Rockefeller with Jay, he sold off the brand to another clothing outfit. And they bought it for millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then they pretty much tanked it. I'm pretty sure that every time a hip hop brand gets sold, another company buys it because they're at their peak, and then they continue putting out the product, but then the product gets mismanaged somehow. Like say for Rockefeller, the clothes started getting corny, it was starting getting watered down, and next thing you know, they just kind of like sell it off for its decreased value, and it just disappears. You don't see it anymore. It's like on the racks of Walmart or something like that over there. And it's just sad, like why these companies, like they make such a mark in the fashion industry or just whatever industry they're in, and then they peak out, and then the owners that started it, they just sell it off, and then they're not keeping these brands alive, and they just squeeze it for whatever money out of it, and they dump it. Like there are other established brands out there, say in fashion, whatever industries, that are still running strong, and they've been like alive for 100 years. Like it's crazy, like Jordache jeans or Tommy Hilfiger or CBS, of course we know CBS, the network channels, been going around for decades. Daily News Mag, Universal Music Group, or Universal Records, remember? And you had Warner Brothers. All of these are institutions in the industries that they reside in. And how come we can't have that with these hip hop brands? I don't understand how these hip hop companies start off with a bang and then I keep on hearing it get mismanaged. Like I heard the same thing about the Source magazine. Who was the guy who was running the Source magazine? It was Benzino. And Benzino was treating it like all messed up. That's what I heard. Don't take my word for it. But from what I read was going on with the Source, he was wilding up in there, and all the people he was working for was wilding, and women was being disrespected up in there like it was like on set of a video or something. And I think personally what happens is when you come from the streets, you have a certain code that you stick to. Or I want to say code. Code to me is like when you follow certain rules that upholds the group or the company or whatever. But they have this behavior that comes from the streets, and they get money, of course, with hip hop, and everybody knows them, and they know nationwide and internationally, and they getting all this money, and they open business, they get funded by whatever financial institution or a larger brand. They get open offices, they're in the city, and then they're doing their thing. But where they come from the streets, they have that bad behavior, that's directly connected to the streets, and they bring it into the offices. And of course, if you're the owner of the business, what are you gonna do? What are the people under you gonna do? So they just gotta take it, because businesses are treated like a dictatorship. You listen to the boss, he tells you what to do, right or wrong, and you do it or else you get fired. So people stick around because they want to get a paycheck and they want to be with the brand because the brand is famous. But nobody knows the inner workings or the dealings or the relationships that happen in these offices, in these cubicles. Like nobody knows, but all they know is the brand from outside looking in. And it turns out a lot of these companies fold because it's just operated badly. And I think number one, we got to change the way we do things. Okay, I understand we come from the streets, but it ain't like that no more. It has a street vibe, but you got to know how to conduct yourself in order for you to run a business, for you to continue to make money. And you can't treat your company like it's some hustle on the street, like you pimping crap, pimping, you know what it is, pimping hoes, you know what it is. Or selling drugs, or you on the street, selling crack. You know what I mean? They're selling the krills. You can't treat it like that. And then you get that bad behavior gets kind of like put into these businesses. Now, are any other businesses? I'm sure they're treated. There's certain businesses that might have just as much fuckery that go down, but at the end of the day, they say, "Yo, this is a business. We got to make sure we keep that money rolling in. And the only way we do that is to keep our back straight, and we got to run it like an executive. And these people got to run it as top-notch employees." And they're not doing it. They treating a lot of these hip-hop businesses like they on the streets. And you got to have a defining line between the streets and the corporate world, man. All right? Now, like Wall Street, it's they wild crazy. Don't get me wrong. Them Wall Street cats sniffing cocaine, doing drugs, getting, prostitutes, going all they look, they just as wild. I know. But at the end of the day, when they cross into the threshold of the business world, they on point. They rocking their suits, they suit and shirt and ties, they hard bottoms, and they going in like a beast, meaning on a level of as corporate beasts. And they achieve the objective. And then you have, of course, they already have institutions that's going to make sure the brand sustains itself. So that's why you have these brands living for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Hip-hop brands don't have that. They're looked at as a cash cow, and they say, wow, you're making a whole lot of money. I want in. They only in it for the money. But as soon as for whatever reason, the CEO says, I don't want to do this no more, or whatever, they sell it off, and those companies that they sold, they don't care about it because it was all about a money game. And soon they don't have nobody dedicated or they don't have loyalty to the brand. So they whatever, sell it off, whatever, to the last garment, and we'll just fucking package that and sell it off to them. Nah, man. If we want them, if we as far as the hip hop culture want to create brands that last the test of time, we got to put the streets to the side. We got to know how to differentiate between the streets, of course, what hip hop is, and make sure we run our business as professionally as we can. All right, because the same support systems are not there for hip hop oriented companies, as opposed when you have Tommy Hilfiger and Jordache and say Levi and all that. Man, Levi is crazy old. Levi is old, right? But Levi is still now. Of course, even with these companies, they have ebb and flows of the market. A lot of people buy Levi and then all of a sudden it falls off, but they seem to sustain themselves. Even with, say, for instance, the Wall Street Journal is an established brand in America, the Wall Street Journal, the Daily News. It has its ebb and flows, and they had to adapt to the new changing landscape of business. Of course, they were selling newspapers and people were buying the newspapers. Now in the digital era, they was like, hey, listen, we got to downsize. In order to keep this brand running, we have to fire a certain portion of our employees, and we have to rework our business model. And now they're not selling newspapers anymore because people don't buy newspapers, but they'll go online and look at daily news. Go to NewYorkDailyNews.com, and then they'll generate their revenue through their portal. So they have adapted to the changing of the times, and they're still here. And I pretty much guarantee you it's going to be here for another 30 years. Not only one of the papers, and of course they do die off. Some do die off, like the Village Voice. I used to be a reader of the Village Voice back in the day. It was a free paper. But they had the institutions and the infrastructure around them to keep them going. Eventually they close their doors too, and it happens, but not compared to a lot of these hip hop oriented businesses, man. They come in and they go out. They come in and they go out. Listen, if you are an artist and like say the Baby or whatever the case may be, and you're an established brand now as an artist, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna create a clothing line. Don't create a clothing line because you're hot. Okay, create the clothing line. You have this platform. You are a $1 million artist now. You're an A-lister. You want to create a clothing line. Create the clothing line, but create it to last. To the point where you have your sons and daughters taking over the business, or your grandsons and granddaughters taking over the business. You have to think about legacy, as JayZ said. Legacy, legacy, legacy. Stop treating these businesses like there's some sort of street corner hustles. All right, because it's sad, you're so invested in these companies, and you're emotionally invested in these companies, not just financially invested, and you want to see them thrive. You want to see them, wow, they're sticking around, they're still here. But and on top of that, even the idea of the hip hop oriented brand is seen as some sort of trend of the week. Where you say, oh, Rockefeller's old. Why? Wait a second. Why Rockefeller got to be old? Why? Excuse me, Rockaware. Better yet, why Rockaware got to be old? You don't say that about Jordache. Jordache is still here on those stands, on them racks. You don't say that about that Levi. Do people buy Levi's? Man, they don't buy Levi's. Somebody buying Levi's because them stores are still open. Okay, or Tommy Hilfiger, or Nautica. Or give me another clothing brand, or Polo. You know what I mean? Remember back in the day in Brooklyn, you had the low heads. You was load up from top to bottom, and you had a gang low heads. All right, that disappeared, but Polo is still in the stores. The man playing polo on a horse, a little crest on the insignia on the left side of the breast of the shirt, the polo shirt. It's still here, and people still buy polo. So we have to treat hip-hop oriented businesses the same way. We want it to last, let it last. You feel that you are not the number one person that should be assigned, you can't run the company, you want to move in this, okay, assign somebody else to run to run your hip-hop oriented brand. And you could be hands off. You know what I mean? All right, I'll come in when you want, but I'm still, you're still around. Make these companies last, man. I'm tired of hearing these hip-hop oriented companies like coming and they going. They here for 5 years, they here for 10, and they disappear, or they get sold off. I'm tired of hearing that, man. Yo, All Def Digital, I want them to last, man. Even though Russell Simmons is not there, well, let somebody else run it. Take it seriously. Let All Def Digital be there for the next 30 years, 50 years. Let them be the Wall Street Journal of hip-hop. Or let it be allhiphop.com or sohh.com, or even WorldStar. Even I'm not a big fan of WorldStar. Hopefully WorldStar can shift their the way they do things, and they become a more well-known established brand. Maybe, okay, let's keep it real. Maybe WorldStar is the hip-hop TMZ. You know what I mean? TMZ is still here and ain't going nowhere. That Stars magazine or that Rag magazine, let me tell you something. Stars ain't going nowhere. They will create the gossip. You know what I mean? Aliens come out of the sky and impregnating some country old 66-year-old woman. They will have that on the front page. People still buying it. Let me tell you something. If people weren't buying it, they wouldn't be on the stands. Somebody buying this thing, and they'll make it up. So I'm saying, let's try to focus and take what we create seriously, and not treat it like it's some as a $2 hoe. All right, not use it up and get rid of it because we can't get nothing more out of it. We got to have more respect for the things that we create. If we got to straighten up our businesses and we got to step down and have somebody else run it, so be it. Let's create these institutions, because we can't go on like that, man. It's sad. And I'm tired of seeing, All Def Digital going the route that they've taken. And it's not the only company that I'm hearing about. We got to treat this with more respect. And I think it's indicative of how we see respect in ourselves. If we don't respect ourselves, we won't respect the things around us. We won't respect the things that look like us that we create, and we'll just treat it as a one-off. Well, whatever. Throwing off a pair of socks. Okay, I'm done. No, man. If you want the culture to survive, you have to treat it with respect, and that's in everything. That's just not in business, but it's also in the way we conduct ourselves outside the corporate office sometimes. Okay, sometimes you want to be in your jeans at the moment, whatever, the sneakers at the moment, boom, 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 doing your show. But then when you walk up into that high-rise building in Midtown, change it up. Throw on a suit. Be respectful, man. Greet people. How you doing, lady? How you doing, Miss Jones? How you doing, Mr. Smith? Boom, boom, boom. Go up there, sit at the table. Okay, what we doing for this month? Or if you can't be there touring, have somebody else take care of that business. That's going to respect the brand. It's going to respect you. If we want hip hop to survive for the next 50 years, stop treating it like it's some kind of quick $2 crack game hustle. It ain't gonna last if you keep on seeing it that way. Respect yourselves, man. And I don't want to get up on the soapbox and preach to you guys. It's just I'm seeing these things, and this will be no different from how I would speak to my friends. It'd be no different from how I would speak to cats in a barbershop or whoever, wherever I'm talking to. And these are the conversations we have in anyway. So please don't make it seem that I'm trying to preach or be holier than thou. It's just that it's sad when I see these things, man. It's crazy. It goes for anything, man. You want to create a radio show, all of a sudden it pops off and they give you money to get you on there. All right, don't treat it like, I've been there, man. I even was present for certain cats that ran companies like it was like some backdoor hustle thing, and they're not there no more. Okay? Man. You know what I'm talking about, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. So if hip hop, all Def Digital still going, much props to them. Hoping they straighten their things out. If not, it is what it is. Take it as a sign. Let it be a learning lesson. And folks, just be the best that you can be when you run your business. Whoever gets in that opportunity to do so. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you for listening to the show. We'll be here next week. Hey, man, listen, check this out. This is my 48th show. I'm about to hit the 50th show. Now, I'm not going to do anything special, no special events or anything like that. It's just, I'm still here. We're pumping out shows on a weekly basis. And I appreciate the fact that I'm still doing this. I have the ability to do this. And for those that are listening to the show, I do appreciate it. And when I do, we'll hit that 50th. Let's see if I could do a little quick little something to celebrate for that 50th show. But if not, it is what it is. But I tell you what, I am going to celebrate when I hit the 100th show. And if I stay on this rhythm, I should hit the 100th show by around the same time. I've been doing this for about a year now. About that, right? So I'm looking forward for the next year, and then for this to get bigger, to have a bigger fan base, a bigger listenership, and making those next moves for GCOM Radio and for Lyfeblood.com, because it's all me and it's all coming with me. And by the 100th show, by November, hey man, let's see what we can do. Probably we'll do a big performance or something like that in the city, or you know what I mean? So I do appreciate you guys listening to me, for those that do listen. And I'll see you guys next week for the 49th. So you know what I mean? So I'm out of here, y'all. I'll see you. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.